Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on May 22nd, 2022 at approximately 3:47 a.m. PST. Well, like we said yesterday, today being an even day, we're going to be working on finances, or more to the point, going over them. Now, if you haven't already done this, the first thing we have to realize, well, there's a couple things we got to realize. Number one, I came back to this world for one primary reason, and that is to remind everybody, like everybody in existence, that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, the kicker to it is it's going to take most people to work together, kind of like the tide of a river. One drop changing direction is not going to do a whole lot for the river. But society itself right now is on downhill spiral. Not irreparable, not unredirectable. That was a bad word, or at least a poor one. Anyway, but I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I talk about are the exact same tools I personally use. And the life philosophies I talk about are the ones I personally live by. Those three philosophies are real simple. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Now, we're talking about finances today. Okay. The operational method of making your house run properly. That house is a real simple thing. Okay. That's the physical dwelling in which you live or the physical property under which you run your business. Now, bear in mind, if you don't have a home-based business and you're as people seem to put it, you're just a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, your business is running the house. Okay. And to do that, and I know I mention this virtually every time, but there's a reason for it. Okay, in case you haven't seen these before, this sign, of course, it would be nice if it was right side up. Wonder how often I've done that. This sign says, I am worth it. That is the backbone to making things work. You have to believe that's possible first. And you'll notice I said possible, not that you believe it's absolutely accurate. This second tool is the other important one. Now, the 3,800 here is what I'm targeting for May 31st. I will be upping it next month. Like, literally in about, 10 days here? But this is a household income. We have legally acquired a minimum of that worked out well, $3,800 by May 31st, 2022 at 1 minute to midnight at 23:59. This is military writing for those of you that don't know. Because I run my own business, I've got Inner Voice Enterprises has legally generated a minimum of $700 by May 31st, 2022 at 1 minute to midnight at 23:59. Now, this is a live recording, meaning those hiccups that I just made, they'll be there when you get back, when you go to listen to this again. But that 700 is included in the 38. Okay, I was just looking at it. I'm just curiosity right now. And again, these are the same tools I personally use. Okay, so when I take a look at things, bring that over where I can see it. And if we go into my minimum, what came in this month so far? That's an excellent question. Well, that's because it's not over far. Okay, now. Let's see 8 there. Okay. Out of that 38, this ought to be an interestingly tight little connection. because I've got 38 there. Well, I've got 16, so I still need $2,200 coming in. But that said, okay, based on just a rough estimate, now this is by the end of the month. I still have one paycheck and one definitive contract coming in. Okay, and I think that's it, which means I may fall short. I won't know until the end of the month. But if I take a look at my business at the same time, yeah, business itself, I've still got $500 contract coming in. So when I take a look at that, I'm looking at 16 and 21. I require about 1,700 before the end of the month. Now I'm going to be cutting it tight this time. Okay, because I can sort of bank on about 14. Right, which means I've got to do a little bit better in the way of sales in my business, or in the way of consulting, that sort of thing. That's my issue. If I break the 38, then I will up it for the next month. If I don't, I'll leave it sit. Now again, that 38 that I'm talking about, that's what I'm aiming at. But understand, I only require 25 to run my household. So 38 is my goal. But as long as I make 2,500, I'm running my household properly. It's the bonus I start cutting into. Right. And bear in mind, that 2,500 includes, when you're talking about running your household, when you're talking about running the house, okay, we're talking about your rent or mortgage, utilities including one credit card, okay, your insurance, your food, your entertainment, a little bit for savings. That all comes out of that 25 I was talking about. So, in all fairness, I've already got 16 in. Okay. Let's see, there's 15, yeah, there's 16. And I've got that I can count on another 19. So I know I'm going to make what I require by the end of the month. Okay. Plus, of course, I already know my credit card is completely wiped out. My bills are all up to date. I just checked them all out yesterday. So everything's running tickety-boo. So, and I've even moved the holiday pay that I'm putting away for savings is already where it belongs. So when you think about all that, again, you got to remember, running your house is literally a case of logic, because the money does not care one iota how, who you are, where the money comes from. Doesn't care how you treat the money. If you leave your money lying around on the ground, right? If you just lay it around, you kick it around, whatever. I mean, I'd love to have enough money I could do that with. Not that I likely would, but it would be nice to have that kind of money. It's kind of like that dream some people have of laying on a bed of money. Okay, I can lay on a bed of money. I just have to have a very small bed. Some people. I knew one person that used to literally light their cigarettes with they'd light their cigarettes with $100 bill. And I always wondered what the heck was the purpose of that. The $100 bill is gone, and you only got the one cigarette left. But some people are a little odd in my eyes. But the house runs on pure logic. Okay, because money doesn't care. And here's the thing that people keep forgetting: just because you've got more money does not make you a better person. And the fact that you've got more money will not make the money work any differently for you. Yeah, you'll make better interest off it. And if all you're aiming for is a bank account that looks really bolstered, that somebody else is using your money for them to make even more money, then you're doing a wonderful job. But money itself does nothing for you if it sits in one place. Okay, aside from provide you the security. Like, I've got access to about 4 months living without damaging, let me just see here. Minimum, yeah. I've got access to approximately 4 months living, right, without worrying about damaging my income, without damaging my safety net. keeping this in mind, okay, if I go back 3 months, I had one paycheck, and I get paid twice a month. So I had one paycheck away from being on the street. I am now 4 months ahead of it. I'll tell you, it takes a whole lot of the stress off of life. And that's before my paycheck at the end of this month comes in. Now, because of circumstances, like I've been spending way too much, and I know this, I've been doing it anyway. My one form of expensive entertainment has been going down to a coffee shop. Well, because of the situation, not because of my lack of finance, but because of the situation, I will be down now to going out to this one coffee shop, this one restaurant, because I hate cooking. It's just that simple. I'll be going to that restaurant now once, maybe twice a week. Okay. Instead of 3 or 4 times, which by the way means it'll end up saving me about $200 a month. And again, how you spend your money on your entertainment is your idea. Is your issue. But here's the kicker. When your money comes in, okay, for you personally, every day, as soon as the check comes in, whether it's government, whether it's employment, whether it's business, it doesn't matter. When it comes in, okay, on a paycheck, on a payday, and if you're running your own business, I recommend taking a paycheck twice a month. Once on the 15th, once on the last. When that check comes in, you take 1% off the top. You give it to yourself. Okay, and if you give 1% to every person, adult and child, in the household. And give them 1% of whatever comes in off the top. And the reason for that is because it changes the feel of the income from I'm working to pay my bills to I'm working and paying my bills. Okay, and by doing that, your stress level will start to climb. So will your sense of accomplishment. Okay, this is a very critical factor. It's one of those things I've had to tell a lot of people about, that they've just totally overlooked. The other thing that is absolutely imperative here, and I know I'll get flack for this from some people, I was raised believing that parents should not show their kids what the finances in the house look like. There's a problem with that, though. If you don't show the kid what the finances are doing, first of all, you've got to come up with this issue of we can't afford it, not being able to tell the kid why. Okay, if you can't afford something, you've got to tell the kid why. The other problem is, man, this one's a much bigger one. They don't learn how to handle it until they get out in the real world. At which point you can have the security of knowledge that your failure to show them how finances work left them going through exactly the same struggles that you're going through. There may be different variables in it, but the outcome's the same. Trying to figure out how to make money work, whereby they can stay ahead of it. Now, the methods I use, and I am in the middle of redoing that book that I've already written on how to handle money. Most of the tools that I work with, I actually write and put down in booklet form. Okay. Now, I currently have 6 books in print, and if you look below this video, or below any of the videos I do, you'll find a list of books that I've already written. Okay. That's one of the very important ones. This one here, there it is. These two. Okay. As you can see, very small books. Okay. This one, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams, gives you the backbone of how to take your life from where it currently is. These are the same tools I personally live by. Now, of course, in all fairness, it's 4 o'clock in the morning my time. Okay. And the mood I'm in right now is literally because I follow the tools in this. Okay. The funny trick about making sure your house runs is, and this is something I discovered a while ago, the most successful people in the world seem to get up between 5 and 6 a.m. local time. Okay, I know myself that if I get more than 6 hours of sleep, I'm an absolute wreck for the day. So, of course, I got tired last night. I packed it in at 9 o'clock. This meant at 3 o'clock this morning when I woke up, it's like I could go back to sleep, but I'm still, technically, I was still a little on the tired side. Well, no, literally I was. But I also knew that if I didn't get up, I was going to be a mess. If I have to take a nap in a little while, I will. Okay. But the most successful people in the world are up between 5 and 6 a.m. in the morning, local time. Okay, this is why you see so many millionaires out playing that silly game of golf. I call it silly because, let's face it, I've got a bad leg. I remember working on a golf course one year, 1986 to be exact. On the golf course, now we take the guy that died of anaphylactic shock because of a bee sting, and we take him out of the equation. Remove him. Then now remember, this is a relaxing game. I spent 6.5 years working on a golf course. I played one game. Of course, I got a bad leg. You don't play golf with a leg that'll buckle when you move. Never mind when you twist. By 1986, we had 8 people drop dead on the course due to a massive heart attack. This is a poster child film for golf being relaxing. Okay, you can't imagine it if you've never worked there. It's hard to imagine the number of times a golfer will come in with bent golf clubs because, well, the game was so relaxing they just turned their golf club into a pretzel. A non-edible one, but it looked neat. It's funny, the same year, and this one didn't actually cause any heart attacks, but there's a lot of misunderstanding about young people that seniors can't run. I'll tell you, we had a dry lightning storm on the golf course this one year. All right. And when the first crack hit, all these seniors, the golf club was completely full. The whole course was full. Actually, I think it was likely double stacked that day, as in people were just lined up. Well, that first crack of lightning went off, and people let go of their golf clubs in the middle of stroke, right? And we watched all of these seniors literally racing for the clubhouse. We spent 3 weeks trying to figure out who will belong to which clubs, because all that happened was the lightning storm hit and everybody just bailed. Then we went out and collected up the golf clubs and figured out, okay, this came off of this green, this came off of this tee, right? And then they sorted it out. But it took us 3 weeks to get it all sorted. But I tell you, it did tell us that seniors can run when they have to. Now, granted, none of these seniors were outside on a walker. Okay, there were many that were out in golf clubs or in golf carts. But, the thing is, like money, the lightning didn't care who it was. But I'll tell you, if you're hanging onto a lightning rod in the middle of, onto a golf club in the middle of a lightning strike, you're likely not going to be happy. But it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you get up at 6 in the morning, by noon, you've already put in a day's work. This is why you end up with seniors out at the golf club. Senior business people. They've already done 6 hours of work. Okay, now if you think about it, a standard 8-hour job, you get an hour off for lunch, you get a half hour for lunch and a couple of 15-minute breaks. You're down to 7 hours right off the bat. There is more work done on the golf course where people are making contracts and making deals than there ever is, apparently, behind closed doors in an office. But you pick a time of day. Don't worry about when you're going to bed. Okay, don't worry about that. This idea that you have to go to bed at a certain time, That applies to little kids, but here's the thing that people forget about little kids. The reason for putting them to bed early is not because they necessarily need more sleep, although the doctors will tell you they need more sleep. Okay, the real reason that I found out that you put the kid to bed early is so you, the adult, can have some quiet time to yourself. So you can have some quality time with that special someone. That funny little interaction that usually ends up resulting in kids. But that's why you put kids to bed at a certain time. As they get older, do not worry about when they're going to bed. Teach yourself and those you're around that you pick a time to get up, regardless of when you go to bed. Okay, it's like getting up in the morning. You get your day started. I ended up getting up at like 1:30 this morning, set the coffee up. So when I got up this morning, right, when I ended up getting up at 3, all I did was walk in, grab my coffee, pop it in the mic, I'm good to go. Net result, I'm here. But by picking that starting time, you get into a routine. And I will tell you, your body, you don't have to believe this. Don't take my word for it. But if you're having trouble getting your life moving right, this may be one of the hindrances that you're running into, is that you don't have a regular clock going for you. You pick a time to get up. When you're running your own business, I think I'll probably do this more in depth in a couple of days. But understanding the business and your house are the same idea. They are still a business. And for you parents there that think your other half is just staying home, taking care of your kids, I would seriously suggest that. I've only ever had one person do this. Okay, I've got well in excess of 80,000 clients under my belt. I've had one person actually do this. If you have a partner and you've got kids, and in your eyes, your partner is just staying home and looking after the kids, trade her jobs or trade him jobs. Okay, given that it's a doable option. Obviously, if you happen to be a police officer, you can't just trade your other half by a job. It just doesn't work. The gentleman that did it, that I suggested it to, he was a landscaper. Okay, but running a house, just running the house, taking care of the kids, is a massive task. Okay, and that's something I should deal with tomorrow. But understand, by getting a solid routine down, get up, like I said the other day, talking about the home. Get up, get yourself organized, get dressed, get your bed made. This is a stable routine, and the reason for it is not because, oh, you gotta have your bed made so your mom's happy. Okay. It's because it means you've overcome the biggest obstacle you'll ever face in life, your own stubborn disposition. Where it comes to running your house, get things set up. I have it set up where I come into my office. If I didn't have the desk cleared when I went to bed, I get up and make sure the whole desk is cleared again. I've got my list ready for the task for today. Okay. And then I start off on the day. And again, those tasks. You put one task down. Every task is kept to 15 minutes to a half hour in duration. The reason for that is so you can get these tasks completed, checked off, and feel like you've got things accomplished. Okay. So by getting that routine up and running, what ends up happening, and I'm really worried. No, it's still recording good. I thought I'd shut the recorder off, and I'm sitting here going, oops. But you get those tasks listed off. When you get one finished, check it off and add a third one. Okay. Now, in my case, it started off right where I had to get my breakfast dealt with. Now I'm recording this. Okay, and of course, I also already did the finances before. And that was the first thing I started with, was I came into the office this morning. And I got my finances double checked, make sure they're all matched. Because if you don't have your finances running right, running your house is going to be a royal pain in the neck. Okay, when I get done this, okay, as soon as I get done the journey, then I will be going back to writing and getting some of the hard copy. And I do not, oh, it's right here. And I've shown, no, it's not right there. Where did I put it? Right there. This funny little book here. This is the hard copy for The End of an Epoch, the next full novel I'm in the middle of writing. So after I get done the journey, that'll be the next task on the list. And well, actually, next one will be posting this. But you get these tasks, so once you've done them, you check them off and add a third one to the bottom. Okay, right now, I've got three tasks on my list. So I will be finishing this, but that list will help keep you organized. Even if you're suffering from something as annoyingly simple as ADD or ADHD, this is not a cure for it. It's also, by the way, not a cure for procrastination. It's a coping mechanism, and that's all it is. But this can be used in tandem with any other program you're on. Okay, this is not a replacement, but it is a tool that I've learned has worked extremely well for me. Now understand, I've been a professional procrastinator for the better portion of my life. Only I took it one step further than most. The saying is, the saying I learned was, never do today what you can put off until tomorrow. Well, I never even bothered completing that. I went with, never do what you can put off. And I was really good at it. Okay, up until 3 years ago now, when it finally dawned on me, this ain't working. Yes, I'm a slow learner. And one of the biggest things that I really hope then that this journey helps you with is to point you in the right direction so you don't wait until you're in your late 50s to figure this out. Okay, sit down with that special someone, with that special someone, with your kids. Show them what you're doing. Share with them how this works. Okay, because again, working together, we can make this a better world. But it's going to require everybody's effort because you're the only one that can be successful for you. Now, from that standpoint, I'm going to bring this to a close. I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.